Rewind, rewind, rewind. Zoop, zoop, zoop. So I'm doing my own sound effects now. Let's rewind. As you tune in, of course, be sure to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share. Just in case you missed it. Let's rewind. Leader of the Opposition and the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, Mr. Aubrey Norton, stated at his party's press conference on February 8, 2024, that it is feasible and possible to allocate additional funds to our public servants through prudent management of our financial resources. He noted that in an in-depth examination of government's recurrent expenditures, which includes salaries and compensation in the budget, demonstrates substantial potential for resource reallocation and optimization in order to provide a substantial raise for all public servants. Here is some of what he said in that press conference.
Government can afford to give more to our teachers, doctors, nurses, disciplined service personnel, and all public servants. With prudent management of our financial resources, it is entirely feasible and possible to allocate more funds to our dedicated public servants, including teachers, nurses, doctors, and disciplined servicemen and women. A careful analysis of the government's recurrent expenditure, which is where wages and salaries are catered for in the budget, reveals significant room for optimization and reallocation of resources to pay all public servants a significant increase. The current regime's recurrent expenditure in 2024 amounts to $480 billion, a substantial sum. By scrutinizing budget lines and identifying areas with excessive expenditure, such as fuel and lubricants, rental of buildings, print and non-print materials, among others, it becomes evident that prudent management can yield substantial savings without compromising essential services or benefits. For instance, if we maintain certain budget lines at the 2023 level, where justified, or even consider a 5% increase, we could redirect approximately $20 billion towards improving the lives of hard-working taxpayers in Guyana. This can be achieved without imposing undue strain on the overall budget sum of $1.146 trillion. For example, we can reallocate funds as follows: $38 million from refreshments and meals, leaving the government with $504 million for this purpose. I want to repeat that. This budget has $504 million for refreshment and meals. If we take $38 million from that, we can reallocate it. $2.7 billion from dietary expenditures, allowing the government to still spend $10.7 billion for dietary needs. $486 million from national and other events, providing the government still with $1.7 billion for such occasions. We can take $8 billion from other miscellaneous expenses, leaving $20 billion for the government to address unforeseen costs. That needs to be repeated. The government has $8 billion as miscellaneous expenses, $2 billion from the electricity budget line, enabling the government to still spend $7 billion for electricity-related expenses, $2 billion from print and non-print materials, leaving the government with $3 billion for this line item. Take $780 million from fuel and lubricants, allowing the government to still have more than $5 billion to use for traveling purposes. By strategically reallocating funds from these and other areas, we can easily achieve the $20 billion redirection without significantly disrupting the current the recurrent program in budget 2024. This approach ensures that our financial resources are used efficiently and effectively, prioritizing the needs of our poor and vulnerable citizens while maintaining the integrity of essential government services. It is important to note that these resources are available without a reduction in corruption. So if we reduce corruption, we will have far more money to be allocated. What that indicates is that there is still more resources available to the people if there is a reduction in corruption in government. Further, we note the PPP's attempt to play the blame game regarding the IMF Public Investment Management Assessment from 2017, which raised serious concerns about Guyana's capacity to manage public investment spending. With expected losses due to inefficiency and corruption that far exceed that of our peers, the IMF has repeatedly urged reform, and we began this process in 2018, only for the PPP to abandon it. To that end, in 2022, the IMF, and I quote, staff urged the authorities to implement the recommendations of the 2017 report and to undertake a public expenditure review to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of public spending, unquote. Therefore, what Jagdi is saying is trash. Failure to reform is costing Guyana 41 cents out of every dollar invested. This is over $1 billion in waste and corruption this year alone. We will take proactive steps like eliminating waste and potential corruption as above, while also prioritizing the delivering to the people of Guyana an improved standard of living. We as a government will hire thousands of Guyana's young people, international experts and consultants, as well as work closely with the IMF to drive the process of reform. Our people-centered approach, which will guide the coalition next government, is imperative. It guarantees that the benefits of prudent fiscal management will directly impact the pockets of our citizens by aligning expenditure with the needs of the people and fostering simultaneous development across the country. We can achieve sustainable progress and prosperity for all. We reiterate our position. In the present budget, we can find money to pay all public servants.
You are listening to the leader of the People's National Congress Reform and the leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, who believes that with a strategic reallocation of public funds, public servants could see much improved salaries in the cooperative oil-producing Republic of Guyana. What are your thoughts? Leave us a comment below and let us know. Remember to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share. Rewind!